Hi everyone, this is Peggy Symingson. I want to share a few ideas on how to be your own mentor. So this is not anything earth-shattering, but I hope you get a few ideas on things that I have found to be intuitively true about kind of, being a guide to yourself. Maybe it's the case that you don't have a lot of mentors, or you're in the process of finding mentors, or you have mentors or people you look up to, but you also want to be a little more self-reliant. I think it's really important. It is important to work with other people, to be kind of interdependent in that way, but it's also really important to be independent. Again, self-reliance. So I would say first and foremost is kind of have a DIY attitude. So do it yourself. So think of, and this has to do with self-efficacy or feeling like you can do something. So starting out with that attitude, that kind of DIY attitude is important. That's what I do. I think, can I do X, Y, or Z myself? How do I do that? And what I do, and this is not a shock to anyone who knows me, is I look on the internet. There's so much you can find on YouTube, whatever it is you need to know, Google, blogs, that kind of thing. So you can mentor yourself by seeking out information yourself, going right to the source of whatever it is you want to know. So information, find it, and then share it. Okay, and then also to mentor yourself, again, just going back to intuition, just kind of listening to that inner voice, kind of your gut instinct, as people call it. I call it an inner voice, but listening to your intuition. Sometimes I write it down, kind of advice to yourself. So journaling, just listening to that voice. I used to go to monasteries on retreats, and one of the goals at those retreats is to kind of turn off the noise in the world, literally. And that's the kind of thing you need to do to self-mentor, is just sort of turn down the volume on the noise of the world, and then so you can really listen to what it is that you need to do. So intuition, some people conceive of it as different things, but just really listening to yourself. And then reward yourself. So this is something I've been doing for a very long time. So like in graduate school, for going to class, I would buy a coffee and a scone. So literally like tangible rewards. I just rewarded myself with a new car, and that was very motivating. That's kind of a larger thing. I always told myself I would reward myself when I finished my PhD, and that was 11 years ago. So maybe that was that reward. So rewarding yourself, not looking to other people to kind of pump you up or promote you, do that yourself. So thinking of ways to use maybe social media platforms to kind of toot your own horn, in modest ways, but to kind of let people know what you're doing. I consider that self-mentoring, to kind of put your ideas out there a little more. Self-mentoring can also be just simply, visualizing what it is you want to do and then doing it. So stopping to really think through what are your goals, but even beyond that, kind of what are your dreams, thinking big, dreaming big, and then visualizing those and then working towards doing them. And then finally, self-talk. So what do you tell yourself, about mentoring, whether it's kind of just to pump yourself up, whether it's what you need to do to get through the day or the week, or even just the morning or afternoon. Self-talk. So some people call this positivity, that kind of thing. It might be a mantra that you say to yourself. It might be a song. So just those, literally the words that you tell yourself. Some people put sticky notes all around their computer or house or whatever, or maybe in your phone. It can be a meme. What are the words you tell yourself? That's what you can do to kind of mentor yourself. And of course, there's tons of other things you can do. You can read. But I'm talking about just kind of looking more internally, and motivating yourself, mentoring yourself, kind of guiding yourself Being resilient, I'm working on that this year. So letting stuff just deflect and bounce off me, and looking unfazed and keeping a poker face is one of my goals this year. So staying resilient, genuinely resilient and strong, that kind of thing. Not wearing a mask, but just being resilient. So those are kind of my thoughts about self-mentoring, and I'm actually trying to learn more about it this year. So feel free to share thoughts on this in comments.